In this video, we're going to look at the first coding guideline for Chapter 18, 1C18A, Use of Symptom Codes. Before we get there, we should look at the introductory remarks in the coding guidelines for this chapter. This says that Chapter 18 includes symptom, signs, abnormal results of clinical or other investigative procedures, and ill-defined conditions regarding which no diagnosis classifiable elsewhere is recorded. Signs and symptoms that point to a specific diagnosis have been assigned to a category in other chapters of the classification. So with that background information, let's look at Coding Guideline 1C18A. This is the use of symptom codes and says that codes that describe symptoms and signs are acceptable for reporting purposes when a related definitive diagnosis has not been established, meaning confirmed, by the provider. So let's see how we can apply this guideline. We have a 76-year-old male seen in the office of his primary care physician with atypical chest pain and lethargy. He's referred to a cardiologist for further workup. So how would we code this particular scenario for the primary care physician? The first thing we need to do, because there's no definitive diagnosis yet, is to code those symptoms. And the first one is atypical chest pain. So when we go to the index in CM, we're going to put in this path, pain, and then chest, and then subterm atypical. And we come up with the code R0789. As always, we go to the tabular to double check that it's a complete code and there are no other notes that we have to take care of. And that is appropriate, so we will put R0789. And then we're going to code his other symptom, which was lethargy. So simply enough, we put in the key term lethargy, and it gives us R5383. Again, we check in the tabular, and R5383 code title is actually other fatigue, but you can see from these inclusion notes that lethargy is part of that, so we code R5383. So this is how you use symptom codes when there's not a definitive diagnosis. In this case, you have two symptom codes because that's all we know at the time. And that's it for Coding Guideline 1C18A.